welcome back. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hope you've had a wonderful celebration of the 4th of July if you're in the U.S. We had a wonderful time. James took an extra day off from work, so we had a really long weekend and just spent time together. I didn't even really record that much. I've got bits and pieces here and there, but I really just took the time to just be in the moment, which I think we need to do from time to time. I find myself, I will get so caught up in trying to capture the moment that sometimes I'm not even in the moment, you know? So I took the time, refreshed. That doesn't mean I took time away from the Lord. I was still with the Lord, praying and just trying to just refresh myself for this channel and just have Him work on me and to be in His complete will where this channel is concerned, because it is truly all about Him. It is nothing to do with me. This was not my idea. This was not my plan. So any success, any time that it speaks to you or helps you, it is nothing to do with me. It is all God, and that's exactly how it should be, all about Him. So with all of that being said, we're going to pick up and read from our little book, Hold Me Up a Little Longer, Lord, by Marjorie Holmes. The title is The Generous Artistry, and the page is 49 and 50 for me. So let's just see how God is going to just move and minister to us today. The Generous Artistry. How generous is your artistry, God, that you made all things in creation to be enhanced by other things. Leaves, how lovely in themselves. How marvelous that they sprout like tiny parasols in the sweet spring air, are opened by the heat of summer, and turn from green to crimson and gold by the tangy chemistry of fall. But no, that's not enough. You have added the sun and the wind and the rain to toss them about, adorn them with bangles, make them dance and shimmer, and the trunks of the trees. How stately they rise, strong and sufficient with their rough, dark bark. They reach from the sky, making a mighty harmony of their own. Yet their beauty too must be heightened, given an added dimension by the silver brush strokes of the sun and rain. And the rain itself, it's not just falling water to quench the thirst of the earth. It too is enhanced by all it touches, rooftops or leaves or lakes. It runs across the water before the wind like an advancing army, shields flashing. Or it falls gracefully, each drop a dancer, spreading her skirt on the shining surface of a ballroom floor. Your rocks would not need to be embellished, God. Their gray, white stolidity, often glistening from their own white substance, their pure, raw sculpturing. Yet even a rock is endless, resculptured in sun and shadow and storm. Or a mantle of moss is tossed across its shoulder, or a meandering vine. Or flowers creep from a crevice, or a bird's nest is tucked in there, from which music spurts and brisk, bright wings. For creatures too participate in this constant interplay of loveliness. Dogs and cats and butterflies, squirrels and people and children and all wild things. Life, all dripping and darting about together, or only just pausing to observe, but all adding myriad varieties of radiance and color. How marvelous this ever-changing pattern of world's beauty, God. How you must love us to create for us. How you must love us to create for us such interlocking loveliness. Don't let us ever be indifferent to it. Let us always see in its generosity your tremendous artistry. Y'all, first of all, I love her descriptive viewpoint. I mean, I could just see it as I was reading it, the picture she was painting with her words. I love that. But then I get down here and she begins to praise Him and thank Him. And she's like, how marvelous this ever-changing pattern of the world's beauty, God. How you must love us to create for us such interlocking loveliness. Don't let us ever be indifferent to it. Let us always see in it your generosity, your tremendous artistry. I love that so much because, y'all, he could have given us a world of just gray and white, black, white, and gray. And although they're lovely colors in themselves, and I enjoy them too, but he didn't. He gave us such a beautiful world of color. It goes back to the devotion we did about color and how she goes and describes, the colors of the flowers and the sun and the sky and the green grasses, and just how beautiful everything is that God made is perfect. I mean, I look at I love to watch the little birds, and I look at the different little birds that I'm fortunate to have in my area, and all the different colors and the way they interact with each other. And then you see the butterflies and the little bees that are swarming around the flowers and how they get in there and they get the pollen and all that. It's just amazing to just look at the bumblebee. It goes against all gravity to fly, but only God can make the bumblebee and make it able to fly. And it's so beautiful. Now, I don't want to be stung by a bumblebee, and I don't really particularly care for the wasps and stuff flying around me, but I do enjoy watching them in nature. I enjoy them, and I understand they have a purpose. And if you've ever watched the little ants, how they are so diligent and they work all the time, even in that, it just amazes me. I'm just blown away by all the things that God created. And he didn't have to do any of that for us, y'all. He did not have to. But that truly is one of the ways he shows us how much he loves us. And I will admit, for years, I have taken for granted the beauty that God created. I think it's something that has come with age and maturity for me, and working in the yard and just really appreciating things, because before I would work in my yard and I would have flowers and I would have this and that, and I even had trees. I grew up in the country where I didn't even think about planting trees or anything like that. And then I get down here where I'm at and I have an appreciation for trees and shade and the beauty of them, and just to see them in their glory, because in my particular yard, I was not blessed with trees. I have planted some and I'm watching them grow and I'm loving that, and eventually I'm going to have those beautiful trees. That was just one of the things that I used to take for granted. And I used to take for granted a lot of things, like the grass. Down here, I don't have the best grass. Where I used to live, I would have the carpet grass and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, the older I get and the more I mature and the more the Lord is working on me and growing me, I'm more able to see the beauty in things that I once just kind of took for granted. It's sad, but I did. But now I'm truly appreciating the beautiful things that God created. The beautiful flowers, the insects, the birds, all of that. I've always loved the birds, but it wasn't until down here that I got a true appreciation with them, where I was able to just sit on my back porch. It was when the Lord began to work on me about how blessed I am with what I have. It may not be at the time what I wanted, but he gave me the incentive to make it what I wanted, and he blessed me and he's helped me do that. And so I'm able to sit out there and I'm able to watch the little birds and just get a true, deep down inside appreciation for the little birds. And I'm able to, when I get outside in my yard that we've worked so hard on, that we just love, I feel so close to God to be out there in nature, in the beautiful things that he's created, and get my hands in the dirt and to just appreciate all the beauty that's out there. And when you go riding along, like we ride along the beach, it's a different kind of beauty he created, with the sand and the water and the palm trees, and then we get into the country and you have a different type of beauty. He blessed us so much with so much beauty for our eyes to behold. How could we, A, not believe there is a God, and B, look at all the things He created for us to enjoy and not know and feel how much He truly loves us? There's just no way. And I just thank Him so much for that. And you know, I truly thank God for this devotion, for these devotions that He's laid out in front of us, because it is through these devotions that He is working on me, and He has given me a true appreciation for things that I never thought of before. And I've never thought of them in a way that Marjorie Holmes just kind of brings them out. And in doing these devotions, then I'm able to see more clearly and get a better understanding and feel a closeness, draw closer to the Lord through all of this. Because there's one thing about it. With this devotion channel, you got to have a prayer life to do this. And you can't just be nilly-willy and just get on here and just wing it, so to speak. You know, I have to feel it. I have to feel God, and I have to know that He's in this, because like I said, it's all about Him. And it's all about understanding how much He loves us and how much He cares for us, that He went so far as to create such a beautiful world for us to look at. Man has uglied it up in places, but God created it a beautiful thing for us to enjoy and for our eyes to have things to look at. And then when we're out there in the beauty that He created, so that we can feel His closeness and how much He loves us. He loves us so much that He gave us a world full of color and diversity. How could people think there's not a God that loves us so much that He did that? He didn't have to. He didn't have to do any of this. He didn't have to do any of it. But He did, because He loves us. So as you go about your day, I encourage you to reflect on this. And although it is very, very hot here in the South, I still walk out on my back porch, and we still sit out there when it cools off in the evening times, or if I'm blessed enough to get out there early enough to sit out there and just reflect on the beauty that surrounds me, that God has blessed me with. And in that, then I began talking to Him, and then having conversations with Him. I draw closer to Him. And I encourage you to do the same, to just reflect on the beauty that God created, and then just begin to thank Him for it. And when you start talking to Him, then you're going to draw closer to Him, and you're going to feel Him drawing closer to you. And before you know it, you're probably going to be like me, weeping and crying, but that's okay. Let them tears flow. Let them tears flow and cleanse you and just draw you closer to the Master. Wow, I love it. How marvelous this ever-changing pattern of the world's beauty, God. How you must love us to create for us such interlocking loveliness. Only God could bring colors together the way He does and make them look beautiful. Don't let us ever be indifferent to it. Let us always see in your generosity your tremendous artistry. That's my prayer. I love y'all. I pray this has blessed you today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.